UnTrending truth about.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our third recording, our third show. I'd like to start with a disclaimer, which I believe this will be the last time. I'll have all the information in the bottom from now on, but the first one, the first and second, now the third show, I'll start with a disclaimer. If you aren't a Christian or a Bible believer and aren't interested in gaining the understanding of the experiences, the opinions, and beliefs discussed on this platform, this might not be the show for you. The second one is I say this in the most positive, in the most truthful way. I am a hypocrite. I sin every day according to the word of God. Just because I like to choose to or enjoy the sin does not make it right or not a sin anymore. And I find it narcissistic and delusional when one omits the instructions and commands written by God, clearly written in the Word of God to benefit all of us. And those are my disclaimers. I try to give everybody a chance to stay, give us a chance or whatever, but you definitely have the choice to exit if you want to. So I'll give everybody a chance to make a decision. Tick tock. No, I'm kidding. You still here? Y'all still here? All right. Well, welcome to the UnTrending Truth, a show where we talk about not so popular and unconventional topics. Where those topics are being discussed. And today we have
Carolyn Parker.
Beautiful. And you can find Karen's bio and information below. And I actually said it the first show. But just like the disclaimers, we won't be doing those every single show. We don't think it's necessary. So this is our third show, like I said. Welcome back, Karen.
Thank you so much for having me back.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. It's pretty awesome. We went from, first of all, let's talk about why, in your own words, Karen, why we're here, just for the people that haven't tuned in ever or are still catching up on the first and second show. Why are we here in your own words?
We are here because my delivery of coming out of the homosexuality lifestyle and how God has healed my life. And I wanted to share with everyone and hope that someone will be helped by this experience that I'm sharing with you.
Yeah. And thank you for that. And yeah, so that's why we're here, everybody. And this is, like I said, the third show. The first show was pretty much kindergarten through fourth grade. We had a cliffhanger. You have to go back and watch that.
Yes.
And then the last show, our second show, was pretty much fourth grade up until almost seventh grade. Was it seventh grade? So fourth grade, pretty much you start to become promiscuous.
Yes.
And there were some things happening on a daily basis with a young male at a private school in fourth grade at 9 years old. And so once the promiscuity started, it didn't stop. It kind of continued or escalated, or what was that about?
I want to say it continued, but it didn't escalate until I got older. So from, like I said, from that fourth grade experience, it died down from fifth, sixth, and I want to say honestly into about, I want to say eighth grade is when I really remember it really picking back up.
Okay, so now fourth, fifth, sixth, and then so around what age? Like, was there anything else outside of what was going on in fourth grade? In fourth grade, you guys just have to go back and listen to that. it'll make you want to hug your kids. But
Yes, for sure. For
um,
sure.
but like around, was it any like blatant, just straight up and down molestation, any inappropriate, like did anything start like what age when you say older? Um,
Well, at my earliest age, I can remember would be seventh grade. So that would put me like about 12 years old.
mm,
And that's my most vivid memory. So I would say um, at 12, it was a neighbor,
oh,
and it was a neighbor that lived directly behind grew up. Yes. So that was the first that I could say incident that really stays in my mind, where this neighbor, I don't know if you want to call it lured me
mm,
or asked me to come to his backyard.
mm.
And in
Right
his
behind,
backyard,
right
he,
behind the house where you were raised.
yes, it was directly behind the house
Mm,
where I was raised. And the thing about it, not just their house, but they had like a little shed right there. So imagine like a garage, but it's like a shed.
mm,
So I remember this neighbor taking me into this shed. And so you have to picture this, a 12-year-old kid being taken to, and this at this time, I would guess that he had to be in his 30s.
mm.
And that's just
Grown
me,
man,
old man. To, yeah, because as at 12, everybody pretty much seems old if they're over probably 20. But
absolutely. And so, wait,
yeah,
so this was a neighbor behind the house, a neighbor that knew your parents.
definitely, yes, definitely, yes, yes. He knew. He was a son actually of the actual neighbors that lived there.
Mm,
And just recalling back when he asked me or lured me, whichever one, into the
of course.
shed. Yeah. So I remember, because remember when I was, like I said, when I was like from fourth grade, fifth, sixth, I just felt like, honestly, I felt like nobody really cared anyway. 'Cause
Mm,
I felt like I was just this bad kid.
mm,
So if you have to visualize, first of all, if you have a house and then you have a shed dead in the back of your yard, and then there's this person walking, a little kid
mm.
in this shed.
Yeah.
My thing was, okay, does anybody see this?
No one's gonna
What's
stop
going
it.
on? That was my thought pattern at that time. Yes, it was.
Mm,
Um, and so when I'm thinking this, all I'm thinking is, okay, oh, that's right, nobody cares anyway, so they're
mm.
probably okay with it because
Wow.
I'm out of their hair. I'm not making any fuss. So as this is happening, I remember one word sticks in my mind, and he asked me, did I want a spoon?
Spoon, like
Spoon.
cuddle.
That word, spooning,
As a child.
as a child. So
Sick.
that word always stuck in my head.
Yeah, that's I mean overall, and so I wonder what created, well, like you say, you thought you were a bad child. I was gonna say what created like the defeatist, like, oh well, no one cares anyway, or whatever, and so you're a child too, and it's not
Exactly.
like you actually have the tools to reason or to be logical. Yeah, if you need all this attention and affirmations and whatever that you aren't receiving, and then here's this person who obviously knows to prey on a person like you.
Right.
It's just very
Right.
interesting what's going on in your head, like you're saying, like it's probably broad daylight. Here we are. You know what I'm saying? He's taking this kid, and it's a
Oh,
grown
broad
man.
daylight.
A grown man. That's just so scary and
Right.
sick. A grown penis.
Right. And you mentioned something that really did stick in my head back then, because I was like, why, with all the people in the neighborhood, why is it me?
Yeah.
That's something that I always was wondering about. How come he chose me for this?
Well, predators, they know exactly who to prey on. So it's obvious if it's low self-esteem, if you're already defeated and
Yeah.
thinking very low of yourself, it's obvious because actions speak louder than words, and it obvious, it probably just exuded. You screamed it, and that's what they look out for. That's what they can see easily.
Right.
Yeah, they prey on
I
wolves
could
preying
see
on
that.
sheep. Yeah, you were a little sheep. And so who knows
Yeah.
if you were all alone? How could he get you alone? Where were your friends? You didn't have friends like that, you said, even if
I
they were
really,
neighborhood
yeah.
people. Mm-hmm.
Right, right. I really didn't say friends because I really take that very, lightly in terms or strongly, whichever
Yeah,
way you see it. But yeah, back then, no. I just always said neighborhood kids, friends, neighborhood whatever, but
yeah.
not truly friends.
Right.
Um,
Obviously, you were alone. He was able to get
yeah,
you, or if he got you out of a crowd, no one told. So,
right.
either way it goes, it's that's where it kind of is that where it turned because you were 12 in seventh grade. So then what about eighth, ninth, and as you got older?
And as I got older, I just noticed a pattern of um, going to school, especially like I said, leaving out of seventh grade. We know what happened there that got me kicked out of Trinity Lutheran. Of course,
Mm,
we talked about that. So, and then moving on out of seventh grade and having to go from a predominantly white school to
mm,
all black school,
mm-hmm.
that was another, I mean, culture shock in
Yeah,
itself, and that's still inner city. So that's nothing, that's a whole different story. But when you have the whole thing about self-esteem, when you don't have any, when anybody makes
yeah,
a happy gesture to you, like how you doing type of thing, it does something for you.
yeah,
So when you get some of the cutest boys, even the ugliest boys,
yeah,
that gives you a time of day,
yeah,
it's like, hey, that made my day,
yeah.
you know.
It
So
gave
if
you
they do,
value.
it gave you some value. It gave you like, okay, and if they go a step further and realize that, oh, she's easy,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we can, so you become this target where, you are easy prey to be one of the girls that they can meet in the back halls, or you know
Yeah.
or they
Just
can find, you can
vulnerable.
go very, very vulnerable.
Yeah.
So that basically was, like I said, was eighth grade, where I, first of all, like I said, you have to understand, I got kicked out of a school that I was used to going to, but then I had to go to another school that I was not used to at all. And like I said, that going from white to black is a shocker in itself.
You mean from
So,
black to white or white to black?
well, it's white to black.
You mean
So
when you went
going,
from the white school and then went back to black?
yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, back to
Yeah.
black.
Yeah.
But the hardest thing about that also was going to a neighborhood school where your friends, if you want to say friends, are in your neighborhood. You think they're gonna be your friends at school? Think twice, because a lot of things that happened. First of all, I came in the middle of the school year
Mm,
at one point, so everybody had already had their cliques, and everybody was with whoever they knew,
mm,
whatnot. So when you come to a different school in the middle of a school year, and then you go, even going back like I did from seventh grade, half of a school year, then going to eighth grade for the beginning of the school year, it really didn't make a big difference. But all I had was a reputation of,
mm.
oh yeah, don't mess with her. Sure, yeah.
A reputation.
So yeah, you come with the reputation of being tough, so nobody would want to mess with you. So that just sort of reminds me of having a reputation, good or bad.
Yeah.
And in this particular case, my reputation was that I was real tough.
Mm,
So that got around to some of the other neighborhood girls that I guess they wanted to fight me.
yeah.
I knew nothing about it. I didn't know that I didn't even know I really had a reputation for that.
Mm-hmm.
But so when you hear that somebody and they're wanting to fight you, and they're supposed to be this like real tough person.
Mm.
So the only thing that I could think about in that particular case was that I'm gonna protect myself.
And what
That's
grade
my
was this?
first. This was eighth grade,
Mm.
and all I could think about is protecting myself. And so I remember this particular incident where I'm like, okay, well, if somebody want to fight me, all I know to do, I didn't have nobody like backup people that I can think of to come help me
Mm-hmm.
out. So I remember going home and I had this particular coat where it was like um, uh, length to my knees, basically, and it was I can remember it was a gold and it was blue, and it had these like little not buttons but like those little, what do you call those little oh my gosh, bracket type
Mm-hmm.
brackets that you buckle up. And so what I did, I remember going, I don't know where it was exactly, but going into the kitchen and getting like 6 steak knives.
Oh my gosh.
And I went up to my room and I took like little what do you call those pins, like clothespins?
Mm-hmm.
No, it would be the kind that
Safety
you
pins, clothespins.
safety, yes, safety
Mm-hmm.
pins. I took about 6 safety pins and I took the safety pins and I put them in my coat as if they were like um compartments to hold something. Yes. And when I put them in my coat, I dropped a knife down in each safety pin that made a holder. And so I put one on one side and then I did another on another side. So they
And
were like,
who did you tell? I mean, who? Any siblings? Like,
absolutely
come on.
nobody.
This is like you are making a walking weapon.
Walking weapon. Because not only did I have 6 steak knives in my upper body coat, I remember from a prior babysitting from my neighbors that when I babysit from them, I remember removing from their house like 2 pocket knives, and I put those in my
You
pockets.
stole
So I
from my
had
neighbors.
6 steak knives in my coat. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys, if you were missing some pocket knives. I apologize. But I never gave them back because they. But
Adorable.
yes, so I took some pocket knives and put those in my pocket, and then I went to school with 6 steak knives. And
How
imagine
dangerous.
how dangerous is this? First of all, you're eighth grade, so you were at 13. So any of you parents out there got some 13-year-old kids, and I believe you do. You know, think
Literally.
about that. Think about that for a minute. Think
You
about
don't
that for
want
just a
to.
moment.
You just don't want to. It's really interesting, like all of the stuff that you say, and then you think about your child, and that's how people can honestly be
Yes,
in denial because you just can't even imagine the child that you have in your head going through this stuff because school really is a whole different world. It's like work in an adult. You know what I mean? You go into this outside world,
exactly.
a whole different environment, just everything, all the dynamics. But you think about just not telling anyone, preparing and hearing he say she's, you know what I mean? Like just it's so much
Yeah.
stress.
It's so much stress. And then the thing about, yeah, not telling someone because you just don't know the dynamics of what it could cause, I guess,
Mm.
as so young, not knowing. And that's one thing I stress to parents once again, talk to your children because the communication that you can have with them can save a lot of frustration and trauma for them. And
Mm,
just by talking, I don't know why I felt like I couldn't talk to my parents
mm,
because they were approachable for
yeah,
sure. But in my thinking and what I put this wall around me, I
yeah,
just didn't never tell anyone.
yeah.
So
Easy.
I ended up going to school like a regular school day
Mm,
with 6 steak knives and 2 pocket knives in my pocket. And
very.
all I could think about is this girl wanting to jump me. She had a reputation for being bad. So as I'm walking to school and getting up to the school, um, apparently I remember she was apparently on her way. So as I got up to the school, it's almost like you pass like a little tiny field. And as we got right up to the edge of the school of this grassy area, I remember people started coming, people like, oh, like a fight. Oh, look,
Mm,
look.
so
So
scary.
this gathering started, and I'm looking, and here's somebody I've never even seen in my life, in my life.
Mm,
And this person's trying to approach me, and all I can think of is like, okay. So not thinking, of course, I'm like, okay, well, you're gonna fight here. Let's do this.
mm.
And I unbuckle my jacket and I sort of just casually throw my jacket to the ground and
Not
soon
thinking.
not thinking at all, because as soon as I threw my jacket to the ground, I was like, oh my gosh.
Mm,
And as soon as I thought to pick it up, a foot went on my coat,
mm.
and it was the dean of the school.
Thank God.
And I see his face right now, and his name and everything, but I'll withhold his name. But and all I could do was just look up at him. But that was the end of that, and people just scattered.
God, thank God.
Can you imagine what would have happened?
No. What could
There,
have happened? No.
that is one of those moments. Once again, like you just said, is like thank God
Yeah,
when
that's
you have
crazy.
that hindsight
Intervention.
intervene. Oh,
Yeah, that's intervention. That's like complete intervention. I mean, are you kidding me? Anything could have
oh,
happened. Just fear. You guys don't even know each other. She's probably not even as tough as you. You know what I
right.
mean? Just everything. And what was that like having a reputation? And were you really like that, or did you become that because that's what they said?
Gave me that label. So you know how sometimes you live up to labels when
That's what
you're
I'm saying.
given labels. But yeah, I think for me it was a little bit of everything, from being bullied, from
Yeah.
bullying to everything just sort of rolls on you, and you just take it. Then you're being molested. You don't know why. So all this anger and all this
Mm,
frustration is all there. So this particular incident is like, okay, so now why does she want to fight me?
mm.
For what? So with
Yeah, it
that
has to
particular
be
incident,
stressful.
yeah.
As a child, it has to be stressful because you're
Oh,
thinking about going to school, you don't fit in. People are wanting to fight you that you don't even know. You're not even a fighter. You just
mm-mm.
are a fighter. You know what I mean? It's like all these
Right.
different stresses that it's just a lot, to be 12 and 13 years old and you don't have any allies, you don't have any friends, you're not telling anybody, you don't have any protection, pretty much. And that's your own choice, not knowing,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Looking back, yeah. But with that particular incident with him putting his foot on the coat, uh all I could was like, oh man. And then going to the office, and then of course the other girl, she don't even go to the same school, so she ain't gonna be there. So here I am in the office
Mm,
with my parents being called.
mm.
Um,
Poor
I
mom
got
and dad.
I got 6 knives on me as a
From the
at
house.
13, yeah, from the house, 13 years old. And I could have, I mean, that's like I said, man, Lord, he had my my back.
So what was
Even
I mean, now
then,
when you think about it, what was your thinking or attitude knowing that mom and dad was going to be called? And once they came around or sweet Jesus had to stop what they were doing. And I mean, oh my God, you could have killed somebody, anything. But what was your attitude, or what was your mindset knowing that they, like, did you have to do another type of personality or toughness to
Yeah.
deal with them? Like, what was that about?
Yeah, that's a real good question because it just that basically like I don't care.
Mm.
You have to try to throw them that I don't care,
Did
whatever.
you care, or did you not
Of
care?
I want to say, of course, a part of me did care, but I'm thinking like, okay, here's another bad thing that I did. Just chalk that up, cause now what? Now what? So
Horrible.
it, yeah. As I sit in and I remember them talking about, oh well, we're not going to press charges or anything, or we're not going to have any. So we're basically just going to send you home.
Well, think about if that was your child. You put yourself,
Mm,
I know, you put
mm,
yourself as mom and dad, you put
mm,
yourself as a student now, and it's just
mm.
so sad. It's just it's
Whew.
a lot. And other people, I mean, really tragic stuff happens. But yeah, thank God you threw the code off. You forgot.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I seriously forgot, and yeah, that was definitely a thank God moment again, because that could have been so horrible.
Yeah.
You would have thought would have gotten kicked out of school after that. I mean, I did get kicked out of school in seventh grade over a thermometer, you know,
But that
but
was a different school.
a
Maybe
difference.
at Boise, they were expecting you guys to maybe fight or act a a bit more urban, so there was a little bit more leeway or room to be, you know, not violent, but
But yeah, but now that I think about it, yeah, I didn't get kicked out. It was more like, okay, that happened. We got your parents involved. Um, we're gonna have her come back. We're gonna hope all this is behind us, basically. That type of attitude. And I went on to you, and you would have think somebody would take that as like, okay, I'm cool. I'm gonna do what I need to do now. But like I said, having that reputation. Um, Another incident that sticks out in eighth grade was when one of the boys called me on the phone at home, and he was asking me all these questions, and he was just asking me all these questions and stuff, and he was asking me about girls in the locker rooms and what do they have, who looks like this, who's that, who's just going on all these questions. And come to find out, he was asking me questions, and it made it look like that I was like checking out people in the locker
mhm.
rooms. And
Wow.
so when he took the recording of that conversation, and when to every girl that he was asking questions to, he let them hear that phone conversation.
Interesting. And every girl.
Right.
But
Exactly.
you probably, I wonder, did you have the energy and the not persona, but the, I mean, were you acting like a tomboy? I mean, were you like, did you have, I guess I would say masculine energy back then? Like, what would cause a boy to ask about you about girls? And then by this time, you
Right.
were, oh, you know what? I wonder also with what was happening to you in seventh grade at 12 years old, did you start to get a disdain or not a hatred for men? You know what I'm saying? Like, was something like
Yeah.
happening there that you weren't
Yeah.
aware of? Because that's interesting for you that a boy would come. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like,
Right. It, it,
you know, when you
it makes
think
yeah.
about it,
Right. And when you say it like that, because I never really thought about it. But
right?
yeah, in between seventh and eighth grade, I would say that I was just I could have went either way. It was like a masculine type of attitude to a softness at the same time.
Who you really are,
Right, exactly.
because you're really
So
soft and kind.
yeah, but the I think the masculine or the tomboyish started as I gotten older. because as I look back, eighth grade was mainly, I liked me some boys
Mm-hmm.
in eighth grade.
Yeah.
You know, I did. When I think back, and that's a lot of promiscuous was there also in eighth grade.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I never really even thought about
Mm.
the other that
That's
way,
right.
like females or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, but when he did that and he exposed me, and I was so embarrassed. I remember that. I remember going to school and looking for him directly. And he was a big boy, like
Mm-hmm.
a boy, an eighth
Yeah.
grade boy. Imagine an eighth grade normal average boy.
Yeah.
And I took him and I beat him like no other.
Good.
And I beat him up so bad that he locked himself in the locker room and he would not come out of that locker room, and he got a reputation of being a wimp because everybody talked about him.
Yeah.
But after doing that and beating him up like that, it just, I don't know what that did for me, but it even gave me more of a umption. Oh, I'm tough.
Oh well, yeah. I'm
That was
sorry.
one
I
of the
don't
big.
mean to be doing. I'm trying to turn off my
Oh no, you're okay. No,
Yeah.
that was one of the biggest boys in the school. So if you can whip one of the biggest boys in the school, you got to be tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, well, like you said, you were so embarrassed, and a lot of times you don't even know where to place the anger or what to do. It's not, or conflict resolution. Like you didn't think to go to him and say, "You really made me upset."
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
your
Huh.
anger, yeah. And even speaking about that, like your anger. So, like you were just, were you angry all the time? Were you just explosive? Like, what was going on? Is that how people develop rage, or what?
Yeah.
What did you remember feeling back then?
Eighth grade, just a lot of anger. Yes, always angry, not a lot of happiness. Always feel like I had to be on guard, I guess would be a way to put it. Never trusting anyone.
Yeah.
Um, Always felt like I had to be somebody different.
Mm,
Tough exterior type of person. That protector of everybody else still.
mm,
So I felt like I just was in a different, like, outer body person. It wasn't
mm.
really me.
Yeah.
So yeah, and when you say, all the time being angry, I believe eighth grade, all the time being angry. Yes,
Mm.
all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, I
So then what did, like, ninth, 10th, what was your so eighth grade, that is middle school.
that's middle
So
school. Yes.
then high school, what does high school look like?
High school basically was sort of scary because I ended up going to the neighborhood school, which is predominantly black, which would be called Jefferson High School, where going from eighth grade to ninth grade, my reputation of being tough followed me there.
Mm,
So nobody would mess with me basically
mm,
at that particular school. But the thing about it, ninth grade, I was like shy,
mm.
quiet. I went home for lunch every day because I could walk home,
Wow.
and I felt like I could hide
Mm.
and be gone away from that scene every day, at least one part of my day, which would be lunch,
So
where I could
how
walk.
were you able to walk home, walk to and fro home and eat? So you just pretty much spent your lunchtime walking home?
Probably walking home, probably grab a little bite to eat, and boom, on my way back. But I felt it was a sense of coming and I could disconnect.
Yeah.
Didn't have to deal with people. I felt like because being in the a freshman, I felt just there,
Mm.
you know,
Alone
just
there.
alone there, no, just there. It's almost like you exist, you
Hmm.
know you're there, but it's just like put
Yeah.
that visibility back on me where I don't have to. I can float through places because I really didn't want to be seen at all.
No real
I
purpose, or yeah.
felt just like who am I again?
Mm,
Um, I knew by that time, I feel like maybe I was that tomboyish was really developing in me because I love basketball.
mm.
I knew that because I played it
Was it?
all.
Well, no, I'll say basketball wasn't an escape.
Not necessarily an
Yeah,
escape for me. It was just something that I love to
yeah,
do.
yeah.
So I did play it. I did play it as organized sports at school.
Mm,
So I remember making the basketball team when I was a freshman. I made the varsity team. So that was a great experience for me. Doing that, I felt connected in a way for that. So coming back to practice every day was something for me to look forward to.
mm,
And not having, like I said, no real boyfriend or anything in high
mm.
school at the beginning,
Yeah,
but going home every day, going up to my room, always being mad,
isolated.
isolated. What sounds crazy though was one of the best things for me that I did to release all my anger being um, in ninth grade was one of my biggest portions of when we talked about the masturbation and stuff like that. That was almost like a
I was
every
not
day.
expecting that. I thought you were like gonna say fighting or
No,
punching holes in the wall,
no,
writing, masturbation.
that was a reliever.
And it's not us. Us. That's
I
like
can't.
crazy. I
I
mean, when you think about ages
Yeah,
and how old we are now, and just
right.
like, oh my
Like
God, I wasn't expecting that at all. Oh my gosh.
I
But see,
that
that's different too because your mind has to go somewhere in order
go
to,
somewhere.
you know what I mean? So it's almost like a idle mind, the devil's playground, because
Exactly.
you have to be alone. You have to, you know what I'm saying, set the mood and all that stuff. And then you're so young. So then that was ninth grade. What about, like, was that anything else that stood out there? 10th grade? What?
Ninth, well, in ninth grade too, real quick. Always. Um, I was so excited about being on the varsity team. Coming home, I was so excited. Um, because most people. I mean, it's not that common for a freshman to get on the big team.
Mm-mm.
So I was coming home
Varsity
one
stood
day,
for basketball.
basketball.
Okay.
Yeah, varsity for basketball.
At
So I was
Jefferson High
coming
School.
Jefferson High School. For me, that was an accomplishment for me because I love basketball. I
Accomplishment
didn't
for
feel like
anybody.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I was doing things anywhere else. I mean, I wasn't that good in school
Yeah.
at all anyway, and I was always getting in fights, getting in trouble. So here you go, play something that you love and you're good at, and you make the biggest what cut to get on the biggest team, which is varsity.
Right.
So I'm coming home and I'm excited, and I'm um, like walking home and getting, ooh, just excited and getting ready, come home, tell my family, my mom, my dad, my brothers and my sisters. And as I come home, I'm walking down the street and getting closer and closer. It's like there's a lot of cars out here, and getting close to the door of our house, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, there's people sitting on our porch.
Mm-hmm.
And then getting closer in the house, like walking past people and looking like there's a house full of people. Like,
Mm.
what on earth
This is the
is
day you made
going
varsity
on? Yeah,
as a freshman in high school.
as a freshman in
Was
high school,
14 years
14
old.
years old.
So you come home and then it's a house full of people, but
I would
not
say
cops or nothing
oh,
bad.
no, I say a boatload of people. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and all my excitement to, where I'm excited to go. And I had my own bedroom upstairs at the time, so I'm thinking about I'm going upstairs to my bedroom because I was like, "It's too many people for me." And then first thing I said, "Oh, you can't go upstairs because there's somebody that's occupying your room."
Oh,
And I'm like, "Excuse me,
that's in your private stuff.
my private stuff, my private area." And all I remember is every bit of what I felt an excitement about my basketball and everything just went out the window.
Mm.
And all I remember is we had people that we were, helping out during this time. And all I remember, it wasn't a matter of like, oh, we're helping out people. I just remember all my space was taken up.
I
And
remember that.
yeah, and I didn't
How
get to,
often did that happen in our life? I
I
do.
want
I
to,
remember that.
I want to say, what was it? That was a freshman in high school. I want to say maybe twice.
Yeah,
In Yeah, because
I
I
remember it.
remember
Well, if you were a freshman, then maybe I
what you
remember
like
the second time around for
the
sure.
second
I
time
was
around.
young, but I remember that.
Yeah. And every bit of excitement that I had about basketball, it all went out the window.
And it
And
was one
nobody
bathroom.
went, oh my gosh, yes. It worked out. Apparently, it worked out. But I remember coming through that door like, okay, what is going on? But every bit of excitement that I had just left. I couldn't even share my excitement because it was no room to share. And then nobody came and asked, what was, hi, how you doing? It was just too many people.
And so you weren't informed that the people would be there.
No.
There was no explanation after the people were there. So your excitement went out the window. And then, like, so what transpired? What happened from there? Were they just there for a long time? You ended up being on varsity. Did anybody come to your games? Was there any um, plateaus, any excitement that came with varsity after?
Um, after that particular experience, um, freshman year varsity, it was mainly me. I
I mean, so
remember
mom and
me.
dad didn't come to your games. You didn't have
I
any
don't. My freshman
siblings. Did you
year,
tell them about the games? Did they even
well,
know?
yeah. Well, I mean, they probably I probably was just mad half the time then.
That's what
After
I'm
all
saying.
the
Like that.
yeah,
I already
I
know
can't.
how that is with parenting. If your
Right,
child don't tell you, how can you know?
I can't really blame them for that freshman part of it because after that, coming home and seeing all the people, it just really shot my morale down. So I probably didn't even share that with people about my games and stuff. I probably just went from basketball. Of course, I had to ask them for money or I needed shoes and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But when it came to actually having people, oh, here's my basketball schedule. You guys coming? Or it wasn't a lot of that for me for my freshman year.
Mm.
So a lot of that for me was just like just just closed off. I didn't tell anybody anything.
And
I
so,
mean, if I
how
didn't
does
tell,
that further, with everything going on with the people in the house and all that, how that further affect you? Like, how did that play into your life?
my um being secretive, I believe I didn't tell people much of anything. I felt like I said very still at this age, still promiscuous. Um at 10th grade, I was still at Jefferson High School. I came out a little bit more out of myself, being more out and open, opposed to me going and walking home every day. I stopped going home and walking home for lunch.
Hmm.
I did meet a few people at school, so I was able to stay at school and sort of have lunch with them in the lunchroom. And then by this time, I was a sophomore, so I did have a high school boyfriend. You know,
Uh,
should I say his name?
oh no, I'm sorry. I know.
Yeah, because if I say his name,
I
he still might be
know.
around. Somebody
Just
might know
kidding.
him.
I'm sorry.
So,
I was thinking who was that, but no, no, no. Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah,
But yeah, and then like I said, I mean, he was an average boyfriend,
yeah.
I
Typical.
thought he was cute back then, whatnot. So
Yeah,
that occupied my time. Of course, if you're promiscuous, you already can figure out what I was doing,
yeah,
in high school. So I
yeah.
was always active in that way,
That's so
and
sad.
that's been um, okay. Our timer just went, but that's in that way. And
Yeah.
sorry, taking that off.
Hmm.
So my 10th grade year, like I said, I was pretty. coming out of my shell. And I want to say after 10th grade, I did meet a lot of people. I was in track. I was in basketball, of course, my favorite thing to
Mm.
do. I also did play softball, which I did end up starting to like softball. And I was, I guess you call it a year-round sports person. Being in sports kept my mind occupied of all the other stuff I was feeling. So it kept me, pretty active.
I know
So
I
I
was
didn't
gonna
have
say, how
time.
did you play sports? Like that takes confidence and self-esteem to a certain extent because people are watching you and you have to perform. So did
Right.
you need that or what? That's just
Well, I mean, if you sometimes if you like doing something that you really like doing, you probably I didn't really think about the performance of it. I knew I was
mm,
pretty good. So I took just doing something that I love to do and just did it. And I pretty much that's probably where my name or my confidence started coming in because people see you.
mm,
And I mean I wasn't playing for any type of attention for that, but you get attention if you're good
mm-hmm.
in that way, especially when it comes to sports.
Yeah.
So yeah, my 10th grade year was pretty much filled with sports.
Mm,
Is what I could honestly say is sports. And when I ended up coming into my 11th grade year, I went. That's me being a junior, and like I said, I didn't have too many friends, but I did have enough where I just I just felt like I wanted something different.
mm,
And the difference was, I mean, it's silly when I think about it now, but when you have a reputation, when you come from somewhere and you're being like this tough person,
yeah.
and you're always, first of all, I was always in pants, and I just wanted to do something different. I honestly wanted to wear a dress,
That's sad because overall, like you said, you were labeled. So you
labeled.
kind of, yeah, you have to play into this whatever they tell you that you are. And if you don't have enough confidence or, I don't I always want to say value within yourself just to make a decision that no, I'm not this. I don't want to be this. You play into it, and I'm sure it had to get old for you. So in 11th grade, did you did change schools or what happened?
Yeah, 11th grade, I just said, you know what? And I mean, this is by the time I had friends and stuff, and I just told them that I was getting ready to change schools. I didn't tell them
Mm,
why, and they were like, "What?" I
mm,
said, "Yeah," and I made up whatever excuse that I could that would make sense to them.
yeah.
So literally, I changed schools for two reasons.
Mm.
One was I just wanted to wear a dress. I wanted to be somebody
Wow.
different. Um, I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I can wear one there because everybody saw me as this sort of like masculine type person
Right. You were a
and
hooper. You were a
tomboy.
sports girl.
Right, I was a sports girl, and I didn't have the confidence in me to wear a dress.
Right.
And then another reason was because the I want to play basketball still, and I would have played it for a different school. At the and the school was called Lincoln High School, so you
Mm,
know. So, but the two things that that happened, even going there, I changed purposely for these two reasons. Well, the first thing I wore a dress there on probably the first day.
wow.
I felt uncomfortable.
Really?
And the second thing I changed was well basketball, and because of them having basketball, their particular school had their uniforms were like sleeveless,
Mm,
and I didn't have confidence to wear sleeveless shirts,
wow.
so I
And you
didn't
have
play
probably
ball.
the greatest muscular arms like we have naturally.
And I didn't know that then because I thought they were too masculine then.
Mm.
So I
Your
didn't
arms were
know
too in shape.
two in shape, and because of two in shape arms that were masculine, they're very profound.
Yeah.
I didn't have confidence to wear their sleeveless shirts, so I didn't play ball.
Mm,
So I went for two things, and one, I wore a dress the first time, didn't have enough confidence, and then I did that, didn't play my sports. So here I am now, switched schools because of those two things, and now I'm stuck in a school where I don't want to be.
Mm.
Friends that I did so-called say friends in the neighborhood that was there or at church, well, they were already established friendships there.
Mm.
So they didn't hang around me.
Mm.
So I was trying to fit in and I was trying to talk to people just to try to fit in. And,
This is at your new
I
school?
feel like there's, somebody else. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
This is at your new school?
I didn't hear your last question.
This is at your new school that you didn't fit in, you felt you didn't fit in and all that at your new school that you went to? You left Jeff and you went to Lincoln and pretty much the same thing happened?
Yes.
Wow. So basically, it,
At the
it
new school.
so basically that's how you know, and that is where the saying comes, like, you everywhere you go there you are.
That's so true because you can't hide from yourself.
No.
So yes, that's very true. And wherever you go, there you
Yeah.
are, and you can't get away from yourself at all.
Yeah.
So yes,
And,
that's the best. That's the best saying ever.
yeah, because if you don't
Because
heal yourself, if you don't change, if you don't make a difference from the inside out of who you are, then you're just the same person in a different environment. That's how it is with relationships. Yeah.
exactly, exactly,
Wow.
and that's exactly what happened to me. I didn't. I just went to a whole different setting, and boom, there I was, of course, and nothing changed because I was the same person that I was when I left the other setting. So it basically, I was just as miserable over there. And the thing about going somewhere where you're trying to fit in, you just
Fit
feel like
in.
a fit in. You feel like
Yeah.
this awkward person. And all I can do, and I really wished I was invisible then because all I
Hmm.
wanted to do was just hurry up, Bill, ring Bill, so I can get
Hmm.
out of here.
Wow.
So I can get on this bus and go home. That's how I felt the
Yeah.
whole time.
So your life was just by the hour trying to have it hurry up and pass by, which is sad. So you weren't present, you weren't happy, you
Mm-mm.
weren't purposeful because
No.
your arms, because you were so fit when you think about it.
Right.
I know. But what do you
Yeah.
know? What do you know? You didn't know. Yeah. So then that's 11th grade. And now, was anything particular happening or outside of just really not being who you, well, you didn't know who you were, or like I said, you were
Mm.
just hoping the day passed by quickly every day.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Every day so I can go home. And then I had a job. I worked at Popeyes. So I would, like I said, I would go home and go to work every day and then go to school, go to work, go to school, go to work. And basically hope that school would just hurry up. You
Mm.
know, um, it sort of put me in the mind frame of being out at, Lake Oswego, just in a whole total different environment where, oh, I don't want to be here
It's
at
so
all.
sad.
you
Yeah.
know. So 11th grade, yeah, it went by fairly quickly,
Mm.
but it was nothing like really that I can say that stuck out other than hoping that school would go by fast.
Hmm.
One of the good things that happened that I can get home quicker was my brother Greg. He had went to the Marines and left his car, so I
Mm.
had a car to drive, you
Nice.
know. But I would drive the car home every day. Some people they drive a car, they have places to go, people to see. Well,
Mm.
I didn't. So
Wow.
I would basically drive home, drive to work, and that was it.
And
And
didn't
that's
even
all.
realize that privilege. Driving a
Exactly.
car and driving home to and from school, parking, even
Parking.
being
Yes,
able to
exactly.
drive. You think about kids nowadays, they don't even know how to drive.
Right, exactly.
A
So
lot.
so that was a plus, but I really feel like 11th grade went pretty fairly quickly. 12th grade, um, like I said, the same type of thing. No, just half a day of school, thank God, because I had enough credits that I didn't have to go a full day. So basically, just existing to get to school, to get in, get out, type of thing. You know, um, by that time too, I had decided that I felt like I wanted to go. You know, I was thinking about doing something different, like going to the military. Crossed my mind several times when I was in school. Thinking like, okay, you think that things sometimes are bad somewhere else, so you want to get out of it, and you just want to leave because of that.
Yeah.
But and I'm pretty sure you might remember that when I went to the military at
I
you was about
mean,
5 years old, wasn't you?
yeah, I'm saying yeah. I mean, it was almost like
Because
you
you
and Brent is dual things. You went to the military, and then I remember being 5, and then Brent coming home one time from the military, and we were just kind of waiting up all night for him or whatever. But I was there, yeah, like only 5 or 6. So
yeah.
even for you, was it? This is how I always see the military. Sometimes it's like like a different type of resort or decision that young people make. It's almost like a legal or different type of jail. You know, where they
Mm,
tell you what to do, they tell you what to eat, when to get up.
yep.
You know, it's almost like this kind of voluntary, like you sign up to get the discipline that you need, the guidance that you know you need, or within the perimeters. You know what I mean? It's not home, it's not family, but at the same time, they're still telling you what to do because you don't know what you want to
And
do with your life.
that's very good, very good analogy of it because yeah, you go thinking that it's so bad one place, so you say I'm gonna go here. And the minute I got to the military, you know, well, attitudes didn't change.
I
I
know.
didn't change. So the very first week I, like I said, went into the military, they was wanting to kick me out.
Because you were so resistant, you had no business being there. You just
Yeah.
didn't know what you wanted to do.
Yeah, very. I mean, can you imagine the very first week? And I cried. I was like, no, my mom and dad would be embarrassed for one, and two, it's like I don't want it. I don't want you guys to kick me out. So, you know, they actually gave me a chance, and
Mm,
they try to work with me, but
yeah,
it's hard when you have so much inner turmoil and
yeah.
struggle inside of you, and you're trying to take it to somewhere else, and the military of all places,
A lot of
people
times
telling you
that's
what
what
to
happens.
do.
That's what
Hey,
happens, and that's how people
yeah.
do become disciplined, and they do become someone else. But that's where it happens. But I feel a lot of times people go into it not knowing where they want to go and who they are. It's easy. It's kind of an answer.
Right.
Yeah,
But yeah, you really, that's not the best place to go if you don't like authority. That's
but it's what
the
happens.
first thing.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
mean,
you don't
you're
think
not
about
thinking
that.
about that.
You're
Yeah.
thinking about somewhere else, somewhere different, away from home. But what I will say and leave you with, and just say that being into the military for me was like one of the things where I knew then that I was, how you say it, I was against um I guess homosexuality then
Mm-hmm.
because I remember when I was
Was
there,
it homophobic?
homophobic. Thank you. I was a
Mm-hmm.
homophobic because I remember being in the restroom and I was looking at a board, like a bulletin board, and when I was looking at this bulletin board, I remember this big old girl came behind me, like she was looking at the board also, like pointing up and stuff, and like I looked at her like, if you don't get away from me,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I knew that I that was not in me.
Right.
That was not in me.
Yeah.
So that, like I said, that came later, but I just want to say that, I want to. Oh, okay. Oh, I was waiting because I thought I heard something. But no, that was not in me. So therefore, that came later. So 12th grade, was a beginning, I believe, of a whole different mindset for me when it came to homophobic and homosexuality.
Hmm. And interesting. I mean, and that's the thing that you also have to visit too, is being 12 years old, seventh grade, and literally one way or another, blatantly being molested by a grown man, being
Yes.
masculine and having this type of energy, and then being confronted with it while you were in the army and realizing, or maybe it was just her you weren't feeling. You know what I'm saying? But regardless,
Yeah.
kind of being confronted with it is I think people, when you live life, there's just things the dots you don't connect, and you don't figure
Right.
how you know became this way, or when did this happen, or you know what I mean, like. So
Yes.
at this point in time, because we have to end it,
Yes.
I'm sure we've gone way over.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
But
Definitely say, ooh.
exactly. We definitely have to end it. And there's not really a cliffhanger today, but the fact that you were in the service, you didn't have any inklings at that moment as far as the lifestyle or attractions and all that. And that was at what, 18 years old? How old were you? 18?
I'm gonna yeah, I wanna say 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, is when I actually realized it, but I didn't realize it until I got out of the service and went back home to Portland, Oregon.
Hmm.
And that's when I can say, okay, I realized it then. Yes.
Yeah, we'll we'll end it right here because we can go on and on, but we don't
Yeah.
want to be
Yeah.
disrespectful, you know, with our own time and other people's time as well. But
Yes.
we definitely will end it right here because I believe that is like leading up to the next leg or the next segment of your life, going from 18, 19. Yeah,
Yes. 18,
absolutely.
19, 20, 21-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we'll end it here, and we will continue next week. And always, I want to thank you for being transparent, sharing your story, helping yourself heal, helping other people heal, and just really being here and showing up to share your
Yes.
testimony. So thank you guys for listening and being here and staying with us and sticking it out with us for sure. And we
Yes.
will come and continue next week. And one thing we didn't do again at the beginning is pray. So we'll do a quick word of prayer to end it and just really be thankful for what has transpired and what has happened today. So real quick.
Yes.
Lord, we thank you for bringing us together and connecting us and giving us the opportunity to listen to Karen, tell her testimony, and hopefully it will fall up on someone's ears that needs to hear it, to know they're not alone, and to heal and to just change and transition and or just really change and to do something different for their own lives. And we thank you once again. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for attending. Thank you guys for sticking out with us. And thank you again, Karen. And we will see you next time. All right. Take care. Bye,
Right.
y'all.
See?